Greetings and salutations, all my YouTubians, ODYSEE or Slayin Saiyans, pumpkins who are smashing, and especially my Cobra Kais, or my Miyagi-Dos, or my Eagle Fangs, whatever dojo you identify as or with. Today's video is for you because I'm going to be talking about Cobra Kai Season 4. If you're a Cobra Kai fan, you know Season 4 was just released and I have binged it and I have lots of thoughts about it. And I'm going to share a few of those with you today. There will be spoilers, so if you watch Cobra Kai and you have not watched Season 4 yet or you've not completed it, I highly suggest you go watch it, finish it, and come back before you watch this video because I will be talking about things that will be spoiling it for you if you haven't watched it yet. And I'm going to get into all of that and everything I think about Season 4, or at least a lot of what I think about Season 4 in just a second. But before I do, you know what to do. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on ODYSEE, you can follow the channel. It is the same thing as subscribing. Make sure to gently caress the notification bell on either platform so you can know every time I upload a video. Gently caress. Leave me a like, leave me a dislike, leave me a comment, and follow me on my socials. Okay, so Cobra Kai Season 4. Oh, I've got a new Cobra Kai hoodie that I'm wearing, and it's just the smallest I can get it in. It's like a men's small, but it's still like gigantic on me. And I was just noticing it was like longer than my skirt. Yikes, but it doesn't take much for that, right? Okay, so Cobra Kai Season 4. Overall, I thought it was really good. I got really drawn in, and of course, you know, I didn't want to like stop watching. I like split the season up over 2 days. And I try to stretch it out a little bit more, but like I just can't help myself when I'm like really into it. But there are a few things about Season 4 that were, you know, kind of predictable the way Season 3 ended. And then there's a lot of things that were like, oh, you never would have seen it coming. But first and foremost, and one of the things that I thought was like one of the best parts of the new season is whenever it's Terry Silver, okay? So, you know, just based on Cobra Kai and how the storyline is written, you know, it's like each season has like a throwback to one of the Karate Kid movies, or, you know, something that was very relevant from the movie comes up, or a character comes into play. And how Season 3 ended, you know, Kreese is making this call to somebody, and we don't know for sure that it's Terry Silver in that moment, but everybody was like pretty sure it was going to be Terry Silver at that moment, and we were right. So it was Terry Silver that Kreese was calling to bring him back into, you know, the mix. Now, and if you remember Karate Kid 3, Terry Silver is crazy, like a psychopath, really. He is a totally unhinged dude, and, you know, not totally stable. But when we first meet Terry, he's not Terry anymore. He's Terrence, and he's like, you know, living this like bougie, like kind of California yuppie, like, you know, like that very stereotypical, like, you know, like ultra wealthy, woke lifestyle. And he's Terrence, he's no longer Terry. And, you know, Kreese just shows up, and at first, you know, he's like, that is my past, you know, Cobra Kai and karate. And Kreese, being who he is, you know, always able to manipulate Terry, is able to, you know, get him involved and be like his co-sensei for Cobra Kai. Now, Terry starts very much as Terrence. You know, he starts off and, like, he's not crazy. You know what I mean? He seems like a well-balanced dude, and he's at therapy, and he's put all this, like, crazy shit behind him. But as the season goes on, I think it's really interesting to watch how Terry, or, you know, how he kind of unravels and, you know, kind of unwinds from Terrence back to, like, the crazy psychopath Terry Silver that we know and loathe from, like, Karate Kid 3. Like, you know, he has this evolution over the season, or devolution. Like, I mean, he really devolves back into this nut job. And that's really interesting to watch. And I think that they did a really good job taking him from, you know, this pretty well-balanced dude back to this, you know, his origin character, crazy ass, like, manipulative, violent, dangerous, unhinged person. And now he plays a huge part in what's going on through the season. Now, Sensei Kreese, he's as dislikable as he's ever been. And I think, they do a good job with Kreese because, he's so dislikable. And Martin Kove, the actor that plays him, he's actually, I hear he's like a really nice guy in real life. And so I just think, he's a good actor to play the character so, like, believably. But, we get these glimpses of Kreese every now and then that make you, like, almost sympathetic for him, or make you think, oh, he might have, like, a shred of humanity left in him. But, he's just as manipulative as before. Basically, the whole season hinges on the All Valley tournament. The kids aren't supposed to fight at all. They're supposed to save it for the tournament. And basically, whichever dojo wins, the other dojo has to, no longer exist. So it starts off, we end season 3 with Johnny and Daniel LaRusso, teaming up. That didn't totally work out. Who would have guessed? So they split up. We have Miyagi-Do, and then we have Eagle Fang Karate, which is Johnny's newest one. And then, Kreese and Silver are running Cobra Kai. And so, everything is leading up to the All Valley tournament. We have a lot of, side storylines that happen throughout the season also. One of the things that you could be kind of critical of Cobra Kai just in general is how so much of the story and everything that happens next hinges on these series of super unlikely coincidences and run-ins and paths crossing and things like that. It's even from the very beginning, Daniel LaRusso's daughter just so happened to be in the car that smashes into Johnny Lawrence, Daniel's old rival's car. What are the chances of that happening, really? And then, not only that, but Daniel LaRusso's daughter is dating the guy that is bullying Johnny's neighbor kid. And this is, at the very beginning. And, the whole series really, really hinges on those types of, very unlikely coincidences. And the Valley's a big place, it's how do you really think you're gonna have all these run-ins with this very small group of people? But you kind of have to suspend your doubt when you're thinking about the storyline in that regard. But it works. But season 4 has the same. We have all of these random coincidences, and the biggest one revolves around Kenny. He's one of the newest, kind of main kid characters. He's a Cobra Kai. He's the new kid. He's getting picked on by, guess who? Daniel LaRusso's son, right? Getting bullied. But he has an older brother who's in juvie that he talks to. And he's like, oh, and this kid knows karate, which is bullshit because Daniel's son does not know karate. He's just saying little shit he's always been throughout the series. He's an unlikable character too. But okay, so new kid has an older brother that's in juvie. His older brother that's in juvie just so happens to be the guy that Robbie, who's Johnny's son, gets into a big fight with in juvie, but then becomes friendly with or whatever. And it's what are the chances of that happening? Very, very slim. So, we got Kenny into Cobra Kai now. Robbie kind of takes him under his wing, based on that very, very unlikely scenario and circumstance. And the whole movie not the whole movie, the whole series has really hinged on those types of coincidences. Even last season, in Karate Kid 2, the little girl that Daniel saves on Okinawa just so happens to be the representative for the car company that he's going to meet with. What are the freaking chances of that being the reality? But again, you have to suspend your doubt and just go with it. But so that is definitely continued to be. Now, we all knew that Terry Silver was going to be a part of season 4, or at least it was very highly predictable. We didn't see Mike Barnes. I thought that maybe, they might have him come back in some kind of way. And I'm glad that they didn't, because sometimes, especially in season 3, they reached so hard into the movies and like drawing the movies in. I think it was good that they didn't try to force the Mike Barnes aspect back into the season. Who knows? We might see him in the future. But okay, so that is just some thoughts regarding, like the storyline and that kind of thing. But I want to talk about some of the characters. I've never felt like Cobra Kai has done a great job of like writing the girl characters. You guys know how I feel about Samantha LaRusso, which is Daniel-san's daughter. She's so freaking vanilla. She's like she's like stereotyped, like damsel in distress, kind of. Like, it was so obvious she was gonna have PTSD from the fight, in the previous seasons. And, they didn't do anything with Samantha this season that wasn't unpredictable or anything that made me like her more. Like, yes, okay, she incorporates, more aggressive fighting style and, like, kind of goes behind her dad's back to train under Johnny a little bit. And that's cool, but it's predictable with her character. You know what I mean? And it's like, her and Miguel are still together. But that whole situation is weird because it's obvious that Sam isn't over Robbie, Tori isn't over Miguel. Nobody's over anybody. And that whole love triangle scenario, it is still continuing. We do get a little bit of a romance between Tori and Robbie that was previously not there. But that was kind of forced because of Miguel and Sam's relationship. But yeah, just in general, Sam is so vanilla. Tori, same kind of deal. They did a little bit better job with her this season, I think, as far as giving her some depth, but, she's like a stereotype character, like rough chick from the wrong side of the tracks, like had a hard time at it, now has something to prove, you know what I mean? Like, bad attitude, chip on her shoulder, that is very much like a stereotype character, kind of a caricature of that character. They did a better job with her this season, giving her a little bit more depth, but still, same idea. And then, oh my god, we've got to talk about Amanda LaRusso. That is Daniel's wife. She is as insufferable as Samantha. Like, she is such a freaking Karen. She's such a Karen. And she gets called out on her, like, bitchiness, kind of, and her, like, entitled bitchiness a couple times through the season. But, I don't like her. She's got a terrible attitude. She inserts herself into her daughter's drama. She, does some kind of insulting things regarding Tori under the guise of trying to help her. The cousin that's in grad school for, like, child psychology or whatever, who's there for one episode, she's very judgmental toward her. And then, the Karen Fangs come out with that situation. And I've just never, ever liked her. I've never found her to be a very likable character at all. And that continued through season 4. Now, okay. Everything's leading up to the All Valley. Miguel's the reigning champion. But this year, they decided to do something different with the tournament. They are doing skills competitions, right? And then they're going to have a men's and a women's, or a boys and a girls All Valley champion. Which, that's fine, I guess, whatever. It just put more on the line, more to learn, more to train for. After Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang split, Johnny didn't have any girls, so the recruit Devin, this debate chick girl, who I like her, okay. She's not done anything. She's not done anything to make me dislike her. She hasn't had enough presence in the show for me to see if they're doing a better job with her female character than the other girls. So we'll see, I guess, in season 5. But she's kind of a little badass. Like, I like her, and we'll see where that goes. But what was I saying? So Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang splits. So they're against each other. So you've got Miyagi-Do, Eagle Fang, and then Cobra Kai all kind of going head to head. You know, Hulk went back on the good side. You know, Hulk had a little bit of a, you know, he kind of was nerdy kid, badass kid, kind of overcorrected, kind of to the bad side with, like, manipulation of Kreese and other people. But then we know that he goes back and he is with, you know, Johnny or Eagle Fang, and then he ends up going to Miyagi-Do. But, okay, so Hulk has one of the most traumatic things that happened in the whole, like, season. Like, oh my god, like, I love Hulk. He's my favorite of the teenage characters. He's been my favorite since the very first season. But Robbie's punk ass and what's the Asian guy in Cobra Kai who was Samantha's boyfriend at the beginning? I can't ever remember his name. But anyway, they trap Hulk, they cut off his mohawk. And it's kind of like this whole, like, Samson thing. It's like they cut off his hair and Hulk loses his identity, right? Like, he is not Hulk anymore. He lost all his confidence. Like, you know, he is very meek and mild. He actually quits karate briefly. And then Dimitri, who is growing on me a little bit, he convinces Binary Brothers. He convinces Hulk to go back, and he joins Miyagi-Do. So Hulk has been a Cobra Kai, he's been an Eagle Fang, he's been a Miyagi-Do, he's been all over the place. But, you know, so even after he goes back to Miyagi-Do, he's, like, no confidence, you know what I mean? And he's, you know, he's a good fighter, so he's doing fine. But then at the tournament, Moon, who's his girlfriend in the earlier seasons, you know, she comes up and she's like, you know, you aren't your hairstyle, like, that's not who you are, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then she kisses him, and then all of a sudden Hulk is, like, back to being Hulk. And so he and Miguel actually face up in the final rounds, or the semifinals. But then Miguel, like, pulls a muscle, and he doesn't come back. So Hulk wins the semis by default. And then, you know, Miguel just gives up his title, basically. Like, he doesn't show up for the match and automatically making Hulk the winner of the semis, putting him on to fight Robbie from Cobra Kai, right? And it's a good fight. It's really good. And then they go through 3 minutes. So they go into the sudden death overtime. And of course, it's like, oh my God. Like, everyone, it's like, it's amazing, right? Like, I mean, they did a great job, like, building up the suspense and that kind of thing, for that. And during, like, this, Robbie's, like, gi comes undone. And Robbie's just, like, he pulls it off, and the ref's, like, and, like, Hulk looks at the ref, and he's like, whatever. And so Hulk takes his gi off, and, you know, you got Hulk and his Hulk tattoo, and you get the Hulk screech and, like, the music, and it's just like, yes! Like, my neighbors thought I was probably crazy, because I was literally like, yes! And this is, like, the finals of the All Valley, right? And so Robbie and Hulk go into this, you know, sudden death overtime, and Hulk wins. Hulk wins. Hulk motherfucking wins. And I was literally cheering because Hulk is my favorite. But the whole season, you know, it's framed up. We are leading up to All Valley. We're leading up to All Valley. We're leading up to All Valley. And you know it's going to be Miguel and Robbie in the finals. That is what we are led to believe. That is where the whole storyline is going. And then all of a sudden we have Hulk and Robbie in the finals, and Hulk motherfucking wins. And it is great and it is brilliant, okay? And, you know, on the other hand, we have the girls, and the whole time we've got Tori and Samantha that are leading up to the finals. Of course, they're the final two in the women or the girls division, and Tori wins. And I kind of like that Samantha lost, but I don't love Tori either. But then we find out Tori goes back in to get her bag after the All Valley, and they're about to go party. And she overhears Terry Silver talking with the ref about how the money will be in his account. So Silver paid off the ref for Tori to win. not good, right? So, you know, of course, that just, like, deflated her instantly. And, you know, Tori, how she still hates Samantha, but, you know, I think she does have a little more, like, pride than that. So we'll see how that plays out in the next season, or if they find out, or what happens, right? So that's the All Valley. Now, a few seasons, or a few episodes before the final season, we have a prom episode. And at the beginning of the episode, we have our dear friend Stingray show back up. Now, Stingray, and I actually saw that actor in something recently, and I was like, oh, that's Stingray. But anyway, he's on probation. He goes back to Cobra Kai. Terry Silver is like a total D-bag to him. Kreese, they kick him out, and he's like, what the heck? And so there's prom. He sneaks into the prom. He talks to Bert, he's an Inglefang now. He's just like a minor side character. And he's like, oh, I'm not in Cobra Kai anymore, but he was like, hey, you guys need a place to party. So, you know, this adult, which, I mean, not okay, but this adult guy is letting them have the post-prom party at his house. So, you know, he's got this dispute and stuff with his neighbor going on, which is not important. But anyway, they have this big party at his house. You know, all the Cobra Kais are like, Stingray, Stingray, Stingray. And so the next day he goes back to the dojo and he's like, I'll think that you know, like, all your students and my peers want me as part of Cobra Kai. And Terry is all, like, really unhinged at this point. And he kicks the shit out of Stingray. And then Stingray actually gets unconscious. Like, we don't know exactly how it happens. But at the very end of the season, we think Miguel's hurt again, but that's a whole other thing. But Stingray is in the hospital, and he comes to, and the detective comes in, and he's like, tell us who did this to you. Tell us who did this to you. And he's like, it's Sensei Kreese. Right? It wasn't Kreese. It was Terry Silver that did it. And Stingray betrayed Kreese because Terry told him, if you want to be a Cobra Kai, you'll tell them Kreese did this to you. And he almost kills him. Like, I mean, he kicks his butt, right? Like, I mean, totally kicks his ass. And so now the season ends with Kreese getting arrested for attempted murder, for like assault and attempted murder. And now we've got Kreese and Silver on opposite sides. Like, Silver is totally unhinged. Totally motherfucking unhinged. Like I said, the best part of this season was watching Terry go from Terrence back to Terry Silver. And it was really, really, like, a good watch, right? But that is how the season ends. And, like, it's good. Like, I like it, you know. There's a few, you know, moments in it. The prom by the pool fight was pretty cool. Even though, like, God, I hate everything Samantha. She's just, like, so, like, weepy-eyed and, like, blah, 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 whatever. But Tori's dress was badass. And, you know, they looked really cool fighting in their formal wear. You know, there's some really good parts of it. Like I mentioned, Anthony LaRusso, Daniel's son, he's a little shit bully, and he has yet to really do anything to redeem himself. He's just a little D-bag, like, and he's been from the beginning. Like, he hasn't had he's had more, like, character and involvement this season than any of the previous ones, but he's never, like, he's just this little, like, kid that's just annoying, right? But he hasn't done anything to redeem himself. You know, there's a few new characters, or, you know, characters that have been in previous seasons that got a little more attention this season. You know, Moon's still around, Yasmin's still around. Oh, I will say, Dimitri's Pac-Man tux for prom was pretty fly. Like, I loved it. I thought it was really cool. The girl that Moon was dating, Piper, she's a Cobra Kai now. Like I said, we've got Devin, the Eagle Fang, the little badass chick, and Kenny, of course. Yeah, those are, like, you know, kind of some previous characters who got a little bit more screen time this time. Oh, and Samantha went to talk to Aisha, the girl from the original season that they didn't bring back, that was picked on, kind of the bully. I feel like there's a couple scenarios that we're replaying some storyline a little bit from previous seasons. And I hope that doesn't happen too much, but we'll see. Also, another really interesting thing that happened in the very last episode of season 4 is that you've got LaRusso. He's standing in front of Mr. Miyagi's grave, talking, whatever. And then, dun dun dun, Chosen shows up. So, I guess we will see more of him in season 5, and I'm really eager to see where that is going and how Chosen's going to play into Cobra Kai in the future. Miguel ran off to Mexico City to find his dad. Oh, one last thing, and then I'm going to stop rambling because I've been talking for like 30 minutes maybe about this. But, Terry beats up Johnny. Johnny gets really drunk. Miguel finds him drunk, puts him in bed. Johnny's on this drunk rant about how I really want to be a good father, but I'm so bad at it. I'm so bad at it. And Miguel's like, it's okay. You're doing okay. And he's like, I love you. And then Johnny's like, I love you too, Robbie. And that just killed Miguel's spirit. Like, from that moment on, you knew Miguel's gonna, like, go down a bad road for the last couple episodes. So we'll see what happens. It really, like, season 4 ended on a bunch of cliffhangers. So definitely we'll have a season 5. Like I said, if I have to wait another year on it, I might lose my mind. But, Cobra Kai season 4, all in all, very good. I liked it. I love Cobra Kai. You know, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Cobra Kai never dies. I love it. That is it for today, guys. I am Asherella. This is my channel, Original Asherella. You can watch me on YouTube by subscribing to my channel. You can watch me on ODYSEE by following my channel. You can gently caress the notification bell on either platform. You can leave me a like, you can leave me a comment, and you can follow me on my social medias. I have the Instagram and I have the Twitter.